What's up? Good morning. What's up, peeps? Happy Thursday, Thirsty Thursdays. What's going on? Hello, everybody. Yo, good morning. Good morning. Hello. Boom. All right, what's up, peeps? Good morning. Hello. What's going on, guys? Bus stop live check in. Good morning. All right, guys. Hello to everybody. Welcome. Every day since October 11th, 2023, when I was arrested right here, where I am right now, at my kid's bus stop. In case they try to arrest me again, we'll get them on film. But it hasn't happened since, and hopefully this nonsense will be coming to an end in less than 6 months now, as we await a motion to dismiss hearing on July 20th. And if that doesn't work, then a trial, I suppose, is right now scheduled for December 1st of this year. They really want to get done. They really want to do this trial. So if that's the case, then we go to trial, and we see what happens from there, and we let a jury decide if my speech is protected. So we let the Constitution. And what's sad is I trust I trust I trust the people to decide the Constitution better than judges, which is crazy, and decide how the First Amendment works, because I just don't trust any judges anymore. I don't, you know what I mean? I can't. I'm sure Judge Bellows, sure is a swell guy. Definitely not going to badmouth any judge in my case, obviously, but I just, you know, from the things I've seen, these temporary orders that get granted over nonsense. When I heard Judge Velez, you know, with Meredith, or 5150 as we call her, when I heard that, and I heard them talk about, like, like just the crying matter. Oh my God, are you okay? She's crying. Better give her an order. It's like, no, that's not how the First Amendment works. And I've seen that happen a million times before with other people. It's just being sad does not mean someone else's free speech rights are limited. Sorry, this is how it works. Yeah, and if you didn't see it last night, I was on with Alex Stein on Real Voice America. Is that what it's called? It's got like over 300,000 subs. It's like, it's a conservative channel or whatever, but it doesn't matter. You're going on there to talk to a new audience about everything. He obviously didn't know much about it at all, but that's okay. Because the important thing is getting the word out, getting the message out, talking to new people about this. That's just what it's all about, man. It's what it's all about. So we're going to keep doing that. We're going to keep spreading the message that Turtle Boy was right, that Karen Reed was framed, and that journalism is not a crime, and activism is not a crime either. Satire is not a crime. None of the things I did are remotely close to criminal, but I'll tell you what it is criminal: killing a Boston police officer and throwing it on your front lawn to die. That's actually a crime. So you're not allowed to do that. And it's also not a crime to say that people did that when the evidence shows that's exactly what happened. So yeah, sorry, not sorry about that. So we got to start thinking about. I'm like, I don't even know how this trial is going to work if this happens, but we got to start getting ready for it in theory. So, and you got to think about who witnesses are going to be, like who are. I don't even know, like, what's a witness for this. I mean, people who are at the rolling rally, I suppose, could be witnesses. I don't even know. People who showed up, like, I think would be people who were there, people who witnessed these alleged crimes, right? I think would be important, quote unquote, witnesses to have for this. So, all right. Anyway, all right, we're back. We're back. It's so annoying with the internet. I can't believe it. All right, we're back now. Okay, cool. So I don't know what I was saying. So we're supposed to be doing a psychoanalysis of Jim Altman and having some fun with it, me and Jimmy, but I have not heard from him. Sent him the StreamYard link about an hour ago. I called him, didn't hear from him. So if he's not here, we're just going to save it for another day. But we'll do it another time. But if hopefully he's on, got to be on by 9 to do it because there's a hearing in my case. I'm not going to it. Obviously, it's in Plymouth at 10 a.m. Will not be there that early. You don't have to go to these things in civil cases. Bradle will be there arguing against the protective order that they want because these people just want a protective order on literally um, everything, you know. Um, so it's just like why do they want to hide everything in the darkness? Like it's just crazy. This story never ends. It's never ending, and it's like they're going down with the ship. Like they don't care about how they appear or anything like that. They don't care how they look. Like they don't. Like, bro, you guys initiate this lawsuit, and then you want all the discovery to not be publicly available. Why? Oh, because YouTubers might talk about it. Oh, okay, cool. And by the way, you guys might have seen this. It's like all over the YouTube streets. Everyone's covering it, and I just finally actually listened to it while driving in the car for about 2 hours back and forth there. And they talked about it's this Lego thing in Utah and Oregon. This YouTuber, Reckless Ben. It's fascinating. It is so similar to what I'm dealing with. Like he's been charged with like he's been charged with picketing. I guess this crazy story if you guys haven't read it. And I'd like to do a deep dive into it. Everyone's doing it these days. All the YouTubers are doing it, but it's a really important free speech thing. It's with stalking and picketing and a couple of things because there was an old man. He had a Lego collection. He gave it to some store to sell his Lego collection. It was worth like $200,000, and then the store just kept it, or something got bought out by somebody else. I don't know, but they're keeping it. Okay, they're keeping it. And hold on one second. Yeah, they're keeping it. Reckless Ben, that's his name. Reckless bitch, is that what you call him? Reckless Ben, yeah, he needs for exactly. And by the way, if anyone wants their messages read, Turtle Chat is linked at the bottom of the chat. The Cash App is $ Uncle Turtle Boy. Yeah. Okay, cool. And by the way, I gotta go. I gotta do it. It's gonna be nice next couple days. We gotta shock the pool again every fucking week. It's like you need to feed the pool chlorine. It's crazy. Anyway, the Reckless Ben story is wild. So I definitely need to like get more into that. Anyway, so he like this family that got screwed over contacted a YouTuber to take up their cause and talk about how they basically had his Lego collection stolen, right? Yeah, man. I'm gonna pull it up in a sec. Linked at the bottom of the chat. All right, there it is. Yeah, everybody says saltwater pools are the way to go. Maybe I'll start doing that. All right. All right, we're back. All right. Anyway, an automatic pool chlorinator. Don't know how that works, but yeah, it's just it's a fascinating story with this guy from California. Was kind of I guess he had an established platform. Some guy in Utah said my dad's being ripped off with this Lego thing. They're still stealing it, and he went in there and he tried to like ask them about it, and they wouldn't give it. Then they called the cops on him and said he was stalking them, and then he put up like signs in the guy's neighborhood saying like with this picture on it saying the owner of the store like this guy steals Legos or something. I gotta look into him more. He got charged. He's got all the body cam footage. It's like it took a couple hours down the like the rabbit hole of that last 24 hours. And it's just been crazy. Like it's just like a crazy story. And it's just so similar. I'm like watching this. It's so he's getting sued like for the same shit. And it's just enough with the police are so retarded in these count. Like it's just the police are fucking retarded. There's just no other way around it. Anyway, yeah. Keep the chlorine pool. Yeah. All right. I must have a dive into the whole Lego story. It's interesting. All right, cool. But yeah, I don't know what you guys thought of the Alex Stein interview. I'm sure a lot of people. I read the chat. People are like, "What? He said this. He said." He doesn't know anything about it. Like not everybody knows about this, so it's really important to go on these things where people don't know anything about it and just say who you are, plug your socials, right, and then people will watch it. New people will watch it. They will go down the rabbit hole and they will read it. And so that's what would have happened on Timcast, right? Which stay tuned for that. We'll see. We'll see. Wouldn't that be interesting if I go back on there? But it doesn't matter if I go back on there. It doesn't matter. Because I'm just going to keep plugging away no matter what, because we are an entity. Like Turtle Boy Industries is an entity in and of itself. So kind of a 1 or 2 man show here. Speaking of this. And by the way, sign up for the golf event too. We got a little less than 2 months for the Turtle Boy golf tournament. All right. $175 for one, 150 if you do a foursome. It'll be fun, dude. And it's for the legal defense fundraiser. And we're also doing sponsorships of holes. There's 18 holes. You can sponsor a hole for $200. You get a sign out there. You put whatever on it. Individuals, businesses, doesn't matter. Let's raise some cash for this. It'll be fun. You can get a bunch of people together, sponsor a sign, whatever you want. We will put on that goddamn sign for you. So, yeah, you got 18 holes, a cart. You got a meal of food. You get to hang out with me, and you get to have some fun. It's best ball. It's
shotgun, so everybody starts on a different hole at the same time, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Somebody says that did not go well for Aiden last night. What does that mean? What is that? Is this a hater or a supporter? I didn't think it went bad. Do you guys think it went bad? I thought it was good. Why didn't? Is she kidding? Is this like person kidding? What didn't go well about it? I was reading the chat. People seem to like it. I don't know anything about Karen suing Canton and State Police. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. Colin Alberts in the Army. There's so much going on right now, dude. Avoiding, you know, they're like we see people avoiding subpoenas, joining the Army. It's crazy. It's crazy. You should cover this Lego thing now that the cops accidentally uploaded unredacted videos. I saw that. Yes, we're definitely going to do gift baskets, you know, giveaways, stuff like that. I don't really need volunteers now. They do all that for you. I need people to sign up. That's what I need. You know, let's get this thing filled up. Let's do it. Let's sell out. That's what I need. Some people have messaged me and asked, like, can we just pay and come to the thing? And I'm like, no, you gotta golf. I don't know. It's not like a hangout. I don't know. I mean, you could just pay for a sign if you want. I mean, or do that. I don't know. But he kept talking over me. I didn't. I mean, it was just, if you watch his stream, like his show, that's how he is. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't like the stuff about the disliking Karen, whatever. Like, I'm not really interested in that. I mean, that's old news, and it's like not really conducive to what we're doing here. But you know, it got us a chance to talk about the story to a new audience, and I thought it went fine. Yeah, there you go. It went fine. He opened his platform to Turtle Boy, and he got his point across enough to catch people's interest. That's it. That was the whole point. Actually, I don't cry. It was more like cringe. Ouch for Aiden. Ooh, ouch. Yikes. Karen Reed versus State Police in Canton was just filed this morning. Really? Dude, what is happening? The golf tournament date is August 3rd. It's pinned to the top of my Twitter right now. And it's in Kettlebrook Country Club in Paxton. And I hope to see you guys there. And so I have a hearing today at 10. So that's why we got to get this stream over with. Again, Jimmy's supposed to be on here. He's not live right now, is he? Hold on. He's not live, is he? Or that would explain why he's not getting back to me, because I called him. Let's see. Anti-debt. No, I don't think he's live. So, yeah, if he comes on, he comes on. We had a whole thing we were going to do, but if not, we'll do it another time, because we got plenty of shit to do today. I got my day's full anyway. I got tons of shit going on, and it's hot out. It's gonna be nice out today. It's gonna be dope. You actually got to golf. Yeah, you actually got to golf. Why wasn't Karen's lawyers a call? I don't know anything about that. I saw the same hearing you guys did. Even Melanie seemed confused by that. You know, of course, the official, like, let me see here. The official talking points have come out from the McAlberts through Kerry Lama and through, like, you know, hold on. Through Kerry Lama and through others, through Krusty Panties, and they're putting it out there. Hold on. Yeah, I'm seeing this. I'm going to bring up her Twitter. That, like, they chose not to go. Who the fuck knows? Who knows? I'm catching up on this. There's so much going on. I got Legos. I got Jim Altman. I got fucking going on Alex Stein. I got a lot going on right now. It's hard to keep up with all this information. Like, it's insane. Still looking for help for like some sort of like agent type thing. and giveaways. Again, like you guys could just do giveaways. Like that's the thing about it. It's like, people are like, oh, what can I do? What can I do? You just do a giveaway. You just go on the Justice page, announce you're doing one. When we say giveaway, we mean the R word. Okay, by the way. So we just aren't allowed to, I don't know, say it, but like we're not like, it's you know what a giveaway is. Okay. So people can just do it. You can just go and do one, and so that's what I need, because I don't have time. I don't have time to run my own fundraisers. Need help. So if anyone wants to help, I'm cool. All right. Okay. Jimmy just texted me back and goes, sure. Doesn't sound excited. You sure? Sure. We can postpone it. We can postpone it if you want. If you need to assemble more, we can postpone. Jimmy was going to do it fundraiser today. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I don't care if Jim Altman does the spaces. That doesn't. I want him to be prepared. That's the thing. Yeah, he's like, sure. Okay. Because I sent him the thing, and I sent him the stream at 8, and I said, want to jump on at 9? And then an hour later, he's just like, sure. So I guess we're doing that. Yeah. Probably hasn't any coffee. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Probably had a late night. He's a late night guy. Next week is hard for me. He needs to do it today. That's what she said. Said Semolina. That's what she said. Okay. The civil rights lawyer has interviewed. Yeah, I watched the whole I watched that. I'd never heard of this civil rights lawyer guy. He's got 2 million subs. 2 million subs. We got to get him to do a thing on me on the Turtle Boy charges, which is equally outrageous. That guy seems cool. 2 million subscribers. That's a huge amount of subscribers. And he is, so he interviewed the Lego guy. I watched that whole thing. It was fascinating. But yeah, someone in Melanie's chat said the dealer's like the Zoom cat lawyer. I can't unsee it. Yeah. All right. So this is what I'm seeing on my Twitter feed here. Breaking news. Karen Reed officially filed a lawsuit this morning against the Canton Police Department. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That should be interesting. I'm here for it. Let's see. And congrats to the Knicks, by the way, game 1. I mean, they look good. Here it is. Here's this Lego shit. It's all over my page. The American Fork Police Department just accidentally released 50 gigabytes of unredacted body cam footage regarding Reckless Ben and Bricks and Minifigs. I think they're the bad guys. But deleted it too late before the internet grabbed them. In the media dump, Joshua Johnson asks to see the legal court papers, but the officer refuses to show it to him because it would count as legal service and said it would place him in a bind. This is the person he's trying to sue. So he served him. He went to his house to serve him with legal papers because they're suing. This is the guy that stole the Legos, and they were suing him to get the Legos back. And so you got to serve him. And so Reckless Ben, they're scared of Reckless Ben. And they have they're saying he's stalking him. So Reckless Ben is not being reckless. He's going and he hired a process server to go and do it. And they're like, well, that's third-party contact. This is what they're saying. And so he goes there and he tells the police, what are you doing here? And he's like, well, we're trying to serve him. And he's like, oh, I can just do it. And they go over to this guy. And then the cop comes back to them and is like, he didn't want to accept it. Well, of course he didn't want to accept it. Who would accept a lawsuit? And apparently they've released police body cam footage.
Give him this paper back. So for right now, you want her trespassed?
I want them all trespassed.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to go talk with him. Give him this paper back since you do not want this.
Can I just peek at it?
What was that?
Can I peek at it?
it kind of puts me in a little bit
All
of a
right, never
bind.
mind. It's fake. There's no
Yes.
lawsuit in this.
There's no lawsuit.
So for right now, you want her.
Because the cop comes back and says, like, we heard this lawsuit's fake. And then they call the court, and then the court tells them it's real. Like, it's fucking crazy, dude. These, like, small-time guys in Utah. Okay, he said he just woke up. He's down for Monday, too. You want to just hold off on it? I feel like we should, if we're going to do it, we should do it right. Yeah. Why don't, and I want to get someone else on. I want to get like someone neutral who doesn't know Jen. Didn't you guys say Samantha Benigno is good at like psychoanalyzing people? And you know, Jim is going to do some crazy shit like over the weekend too. So maybe we'll just hold off on that. Why don't we just hold off on that? What do you guys think? I don't know. I feel like if we're going to do it, we should do it right. You know, why rush? Because we are going to be rushed. I feel like I have court at 10. And by the way, they're telling Brado's messaging me saying there's no Zoom. It must be streaming though, right? Well, if it's streaming, if they're streaming, then they are streaming the Zoom. How is there no Zoom? Because it's mine and Karen's. There's so much going on. That's crazy, though. I got the. It infuriates me, the attacks going on in the First Amendment in this country, and the complicity of judges, and the complicity of police that are just so willing to just declare war on the First Amendment. It's just out of control. I feel like me and this reckless Ben guy are like, you know, kindred spirits, if you will. But I have his back, and I think back to like that last summer, Long Island audits. You know what happened with him? How he was arrested. It's crazy, crazy. That guy, a cop comes out, a nut job, for knocking on his door, which you're allowed to do, and threatens him. He's got a gun, you know. Anyway, yeah, they don't understand social media. It's like one of the things that they're saying to this guy is that like, oh, well, we're not going to give you these documents because you're going to use it for clicks and likes on the internet. And it's the same thing they do with me. It's like, well, Your Honor, we need a protective order because he has a big platform he's going to talk about. It doesn't matter if I have a big platform. None of that matters. It's like there's no threshold for follower count in which suddenly a protective order. Okay, we can't release these public documents to the public because this guy's got a big following and you might show them to the public. It doesn't matter if you have 5 followers, 100 followers, 1 million followers. Public documents are public documents, period. And it's just enough of this shit. Enough of this, like that somebody might be embarrassed. Then don't get involved in legal shit then. I don't know what to tell you. Don't get involved in court. How 5150 had like a, you know, her affidavit impounded. Why? Why should that be impounded? Why? They're initiating the legal proceedings. If you're initiating the legal proceedings, then don't complain about privacy afterwards. Everybody knows that. It's just crazy. It's crazy. And I'm hearing from this reckless Ben guy, like the same shit. I'm hearing the same stuff about like, oh, they're in fear. They're in fear. The families, the people that you're asking questions to, they're in fear. Their family's in fear. So who cares? That's ridiculous. They're just saying they're in fear. They're not actually in fear. And if they are, so what? It's not my rights don't stop existing because you claim to be in fear. Okay? That's not how any of this works. That's not how this works. Okay? Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, get rid of that. Okay. Bakerade. I love the baker. And you know, I don't want to get too into Baker had a valid truth journey the other day. I haven't seen it yet, but I think I know what it's about. And you know, yeah, no dice then, yeah. It's disgusting. That's all I got to say about that. You know, it's like, have we learned nothing from my situation? Have we learned nothing about that? Like, nobody wants to see that. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like I don't need to be alerted to anything involving a content creator's like personal life. I don't need to know about any of that. I don't care. That's not why I watch him. You know, I watch The Broken Baker because he's funny and he supports my cause. He supports Karen Reed's cause. He's on the right side of everything. That's why I like The Baker, right? I don't care I don't care. I don't want to know. You know what I mean? It's like, none of that's my business. I don't care. He could be the biggest freak in the world. Doesn't matter. And I also don't want to know. It's nobody's business. I shouldn't know. Like, nobody should ever make that public. Like, it's disgusting. You know, I was really disgusted by that, to be perfectly honest with you. It was completely uncalled for. And like, why do we need to know about that? Why? I could understand if he was like breaking some laws or something like that. Like if he was, you know, if there was some shit going on, like, oh, actually this guy's into like, you know, kiddish pornography or something illegal, like really bad illegal, like not like fake illegal, like fake witness intimidation or anything like that. But like, I don't care. What the stuff that I saw, the text messages that I saw, I never should have seen those. I never should have seen those. And it's disgusting that the world saw them. And honestly, the fact that Krusty Panties and 5150 are the ones retweeting it what else do you need to know? If they're retweeting you fucked up. Like, you fucked up. You did something bad. If they're retweeting you did something bad. And it should not be enabled. It's disgusting. It's absolutely, I was disgusted when I saw that. Disgusted. And I don't care. It's such a violation. Like, it's just such a violation, you know, of people's privacy. Like, if you are in you know, if I do some shit like that with some ladies or whatever, or women, like, and then they release it, it's like shitty. Like, there's some things that are just sacred, you know? Have I released screenshots before of messages? Sure. In response to something, you know what I mean? If you're like if you're accusing me of being like, you know, like for instance, I've released some of her text messages with me when it's like, well, oh, he was harassing me and wouldn't leave me alone. Well, here's some screenshots of messages that show the exact opposite. Okay. So that's the only reason I'm showing these. Okay. You know, oh yeah, he wouldn't leave me alone and wanted to break up with me. And, I wanted to break up with him and he wouldn't, you know, or like he was always trying to hook up with me. Yeah. Here's some awkward sexting. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, there's just no need for it, bro. I don't care. I don't care what anyone's into at all. It's none of my business. It's none of your business. It's no one's business. Like, I don't want to know. And like, I could understand if there was like a good, and again, the only reason I'm not trying to crap on the other person because she's never done anything to me, never been anything but supportive to me, but it needs to stop and it shouldn't be enabled. You know what I mean? It's like, I see, like, you know, I started noticing in the chat, like all this shit about Baker, like, oh, Baker's this, Baker's that. And I'm like, well, what did he do? Did he do something really egregious, or is this just a personal falling out? And it's like, okay, well, you know, he blocked her without just abruptly and no explanation. Okay. Okay. So what? Okay. So what? What do I care about? What do I need to know about this? What do I need to know about this at all? Why is that any of my business? I don't want to know the details. I don't want to get into this. I don't care. And I don't see him posting screenshots. You know what I mean? I don't see him provoking any of this. I don't care. I see one person posting shit about another person, the other one not really responding. That's what I see. You know? And then and that's the thing. It's like, from my understanding, it's like, okay, if you're in a thing with someone and they're like messaging back and, you know, things are going good. It's hot and heavy and it's wild and it's a good time, right? I get it. And then one day the other person is just like snap. And then they're just like, nope, they block you. And you're like, what the fuck? Where'd that come from? You know, like, and you want an explanation and you feel like you're due an explanation, but they blocked you. Well, guess what? Like, that's their right. That's their right. And that's not like it's not like some unforgivable crime. You know what I mean? Like, that's not, I'm like, because it's my understanding that that's what this is all about. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is it's spammed all over the fucking chat everywhere I go. And I don't care. I don't want to know about it, but they want it out there. So let's talk about it. It's like, it's my understanding that the baker had some sort of sexting relationship with someone. And this person was like spamming chat rats. And every time I would go in there, it was just like filled with like attacks on the baker. And I'm like, well, what did he do? What did he do? Well, apparently they had some sort of sexting relationship, and then it just abruptly ended with no explanation, and he blocked her. And she felt the need to expose him for that. For what? For what? You have a right to ghost someone. You have a right to abruptly end things without an explanation. You have the right to do that. That's not a crime. Like, what? People have the right. I don't know the details of it. I don't want to know the details of it. Maybe he, like, I don't want to know. I don't care why he did that. It's his right to do that. That doesn't mean that you should then go on and be like, well, he's a piece of shit and here's all his fucking freaky text messages. What? What? Yeah, it's just like, I don't care. That's it. Like, nobody cares about that. Like, I want to reiterate that again. Nobody cares about that. Absolutely nobody cares about your personal fallout with a content creator who you were sexting with. Nobody cares except you. That's it. Nobody. And I don't know if they need to hear this, like, because I was reading the chat and I'm just like, why do I care about this? Nobody cares. Stop making people try to care. That's it. Okay? And it should not be enabled. That's it. Okay? And that's it. And it's just like, have we not learned from all the shit people have done to me and put out there? And you guys are like, I don't care what he's into. I don't care if he can't keep it in his pants. I don't care about any of that shit. Because the guy, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here because Turtle Boy breaks stories and fights for the First Amendment and that sort of, like, that's what you're here for. What the fuck do you care? You know, like, you saw the videos where 5150 is like, saying, I'm going to put this out on the internet that you were sexting with another woman. Yeah, okay. You think my followers are going to go, fuck? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. They're going to be like, good for him. Like, that's it. That's it. So that's my thoughts on that. It's just like, it's none of our business. None of our business. Anyway, what else is going on? Yeah, let me read some turtle chats, shall we? Did we and Jimmy agree to do this another day? Let's see. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, we'll do it Monday. Hopefully he wakes up a little earlier. He's a late night guy. All right. And it's like, you know what else no one cares about? Evictions. And like shit, DUIs from 15 years ago. Nobody cares unless it's funny. There's funny DUIs and regular DUIs, you know? Either way, I don't really care about either one, but one of them's kind of funny. Like Jen Altman's DUI is funny because of the mugshot. Jim Altman's, like, that's a funny mugshot. And all her all she's been doing is like posting like, here's your evictions. Like people say shit to them and then they look up their past and they're like, oh my God, you have this, you owed $1,500 in 2011. Okay. And where am I? Oh, you're a bad person. Like, what do I care? But as it turns out, Jim Altman also has evictions because I got sent a whole bunch of paperwork on Jim Altman. I guess we could show those, shall we? Should we just go over the Jim Altman paperwork? Let's do it. Let's see. Download these. Hold on. Give me 1 sec. I'm downloading them all real quick. Again, I have not looked into this because I'm not like Jim Altman. Like, I don't, but it's just so ironic about people in glass houses that like do this all the time and like bring up your past. So, you know, Jim is, let's just talk about it real quick. Since Jimmy's not coming on, and I said we're going to give you some Jim content, Jim Altman content, and we're going to save it for another day because I want to talk about, I want to get Samantha Benigno on here and with like, I want her coming in blind without, I want somebody who doesn't know anything about this, who would just come in here and give us their honest analysis. But we have to like line up old tweets and messages with new shit. Like it requires like a whole presentation. So I need to like time to get it together. I'm a little busy, quite frankly. All right, hold on. Dude, there's so much paperwork here. Wow. Hold on, I'm downloading all these. All right, let's see the chat real quick. So what's this one? I'm seeing some of these for the first time. This is Jim. Oh, so in 2016, if this is her, somebody named Jennifer Ann Altman was charged with violating an abuse prevention order. So somebody had in Marlborough District Court, which is her local district court. So she was charged with that. I've not read anything about it, but she was apparently charged with violating a restraining order. So that's good. What's this? Her divorce petition. I don't really care, obviously, if you're divorced or not. But I'm glad that Mark got away because everybody says good things about Mark Altman. And that is that. I think he got the house. Okay. What's this one? Let's see. More Jim. This is from, the violating the, let's see. Oh, this shows what happened with it. Oh, she had a default. She defaulted. She didn't show up, huh? Okay. What does this one say? Small claims, a couple small claims out of Westboro District Court. We can look into those if we, I mean, if they want to, if we want to, or we could just not care, you know? Discharge of the debtor. The debtor is granted a discharge. Oh, bankruptcy. She was bankruptcy. That's good. That's good. What else do we have here? Yeah, that's bankruptcy court. The debtor used by the debtor in the last 8 years. Okay, so it just means she declared bankruptcy? I don't know. 2012. Isn't that one of the things they always shit on other people? Oh, you declared bankruptcy. Here's the one from 2011. What's this one I'm looking at here? Money that she owes. Debt of payment payer. Jennifer Altman owes Troy Morrison, Esquire, $1,500. Okay. She's ordered to pay $279 a month, pay off her debts in the United States Bankruptcy Court, District of Massachusetts. What's this one? Income from employment. Oh, this is what Jen makes a year. So 40 grand. When the year before she makes 53. We don't know what she makes now, in fairness. She could make more than that now. But she throws a lot of stones at people. Talks about how successful she is. Making 32 grand a year. Good job. What else do we have here? From Jim. Assets. These are her assets. Let's see. Dude, the shit in the new filing is wild. We talked about the Karen Reed one. Should we go look at that? Yeah. Creditors, liabilities, $30,000. Is that what she owes? She owes 30 grand to creditors? That's not good. How'd that happen? No, she'll have some sob story, I'm sure. It's only ratchet when other people do it. Anyway, there's a ton of shit here. I need to look at these more before we talk about it too much, but there's a whole bunch of files someone just sent me. So, all right, let's see. She goes, I know everyone's talking about this breaking Karen Reed story. Oh my God. Everybody says this filing is wild. Should we just eat it? Eat a black dick? Oh, where can I get this? Where can I get this? I got to go on Twitter. Where's Kyle Sharkey? Kyle Sharkey. I got to go right to the Shark Man. Right to the Shark Man. Okay. Give it to me. Or suspicious sauce, the other one. Love suspicious sauce. It's 87 pages. Her complaint. We're going over this right now. Let's fucking do it. Can I download it? Where's the download button? Okay. We're going over this right now. We got to see this. Everyone's talking about it. Fuck Jim Altman. Jim Altman gets a stay. Can I download this? Can I make it bigger? Okay. But then it doesn't let me stream it. That doesn't let me zoom in. Hold on. How can I download it? Am I missing something here? No, I can go past 10. I don't care. We have to go over this now, obviously. Is there a like this thing that Suspicious Sauce shares? Where is the download button? I need to just download because I don't like to see all this shit. I don't need all this shit. This is like taking up space. Can we get rid of this? Like, I want to get rid of this. I want to download this PDF. How can I do that? How come Twitter doesn't let you share PDFs? That's another thing. And then we have another one. reply memorandum of law in further support of the Commonwealth's witness, a special motion to dismiss under Massachusetts anti-SLAPP law. Oh, so that now they filed a motion opposing the motion to dismiss. There's so many motions out there. There's so many fucking cases. It's crazy, dude. Everybody's like messaging me. Holy fuck, the Proctor and Good messages. I cannot wait to read these. I'll just go to Mass Courts. Fuck this. It's in Bristol Superior. Yeah, we don't want to get restricted. Superior Court, Bristol. Reed, Karen. Date. There it is. Okay. Original civil complaint filed. Where's Nicky Haircuts with the big announcement on this? He doesn't get the good shit anymore. That's interesting. Isn't it? Don't we usually get like an announcement the day before, like, stay tuned, something big coming tomorrow? Interesting. All right, back to this. Let's pull it up. I'm thinking suddenly your phone extraction isn't so bad. Okay. I can't wait to read this. Misogyny, bigotry as a result. Ms. Reed now files this action against the state police. At the heart of her claims is a distressing narrative, individual rights. Will now be forced to answer for their police officers' unlawful conduct against Ms. Reed that is set forth in detail below, but also for the insidious culture of bigotry and misogyny that fosters such an unlawful conduct and has likely resulted in other unconstitutional criminal investigations in which countless unknown others have suffered. Indeed, the state police and Canton police avoided facing this very moment for years, but it's now time for the long-awaited transparency and accountability owed to the citizens. Former detective Michael Proctor and former CPD sergeants Sean Good are virulent bigots whose hatred for anyone and everyone different from themselves permeates their every action. They are not officers who occasionally voice an offensive remark. They are men whose written and recorded communications sent to one another and to a circle of like-minded friends over the course of a decade establish entrenched and unrepentant hatred for women, Black Americans, Asian Americans, Jews, Hispanics, Arabs, and gay people. Yeah, too bad none of those apply to me, huh? So I can't. Okay. Their unfitness for any position of public trust was not subtle. It was extremely documented. It was extensively documented and, as set forth below, knowable to state police and Canton police long before either agency. Can't you be a protected class they hate too? That's what I'm saying. Why? What about turtles? Any hatred for turtles? Or award-winning journalists, like discrimination against award-winning journalists, something like that. I don't fall into any of these protected classes. I wish I'm just a white guy. Fuck. Okay, back to this. It was extremely documented, set forth, noticeable, blah, blah, long before their agency assigned them to investigate and prosecute Ms. Reed. Proctor's and Good's involvement at the outset of the investigation into the death of John O'Keefe is invariably and irredeemably contaminated in every aspect, as depicted in thousands of written and audio messages that the Norfolk DA's office has thus far hidden from public view. And far from the inclusive values that both organizations publicly claim to pursue, Proctor and Good secretly and proudly wore badges of hate. Indeed, bigotry guided their every act as law enforcement officers for years, but such conduct remained disguised by the uniforms they wore and obscured by the support and encouragement they received inside the walls of the very institutions designed to prevent such injustice. This is going to be a long stream, folks. I got to go over to the computer. Hold on. I got to charge this baby. Hold on. I got to get a glass of water. We're doing this. Let's go. So the Juneteenth fundraiser. The Juneteenth, this is who they're supporting. Don't forget that. Crusty Panties, white supremacist rally. If you're going to that, you're a bigot. If you're going to that, you're a racist. You hate women. You hate all that shit. And it is not against the law to protest racism on Juneteenth. Okay? So you are well. I can't go because they will try to say that I'm like intimidating witnesses or violating protection orders. Other people can go. It's still a free country. Last I checked, it's still a free country. Lots of steak sauce in the fridge, I know. Wow. We're going to read this now. Oh my God. Everybody's talking about this, bro. Everyone's talking about this shit right now. Let's go. Fuck Jim Altman. All right. For the state police and the Canton police who hired, trained, and supervised and observed these two for years, Proctor's and Good's hateful and despicable views were not only part of their own daily vernacular, but were woven through the fabric of their organization's culture every day. We are getting the highlighter up for this. Conversations. After telling Good about a multi-car accident in Canton, actually, oh my God, I said that Proctor did not strike me as an N-word guy. I was wrong. He's an N-word guy. Holy shite. Proctor says, actually, take your time. I saw an N-word was involved. So I wouldn't rush if you're working. Let them die. Wow. They're going to say he's just kidding. My new VP is a giant malignant. See you next Tuesday. His VP. I pray to the heavens that some effed up insect from the Amazon crawls up her vajayjay, hatches eggs, and the litter kills her by eating her from the inside out. These are extremely regrettable texts. Very unprofessional, but trust me, bro, the investigation was conducted with integrity and honor, bro. Like, never forget. Don't let Buchanan and Tully off the hook here with this shit. They knew exactly who this guy was. They could be like, I had no idea that he was like this. Do not let them off the hook. They own this shit. Biggest, see you next Tuesday. Slut, says Good. Referring to his then girlfriend's anus. So this is Elizabeth Proctor he's saying this to. I'm assuming he's saying this about her. I'm assuming. I can't even get effing near that thing. I make every effort possible. I wait till she's asleep and I try to get at it. I try every effort possible. I try to get her hammered. I can't get anywhere near it. It's starting to piss me off. It's not cool. So if I'm understanding this right, just a figure of speech. If I'm understanding this right, this is about his wife. I'm assuming this is Elizabeth Proctor. It says his then girlfriend. I suppose it could be another woman. But if he, I don't know when they got married, so I don't know what year this would be either. But he appears to be telling Good that he wants to experiment with anal, right? That's what he's saying there. He wants to experiment with anal with his wife, but she's not game, or his girlfriend. He makes every effort possible, so he's waiting for her to fall asleep so that he can toss it in there. That seems to be what he's saying, right? That he's planning on getting his girlfriend drunk so that she will pass out, and then he can have fun with her anus. I went to Canton High this morning to get a transcript and saw more N-words in 10 minutes than in 4 years I spent there combined. Everywhere I looked, there were monkeys running around. I wanted to ask the woman in the guidance office, where are all the white kids? Where the F did all these nigglets come from? You know, they have my phone. Crusty, the worst people in the world who want nothing but to expose me and smear me and show the world what a monster I am, have gotten my entire phone extraction. All of my hidden thoughts and private conversations that I never thought would see the light of day, right? So when you think that somebody is never going to read your shit, you're more apt to say shit that you wouldn't say. So you have my phone. You have everything that I uncensored because I never thought this stuff would see the light of day. And they have it all. And what have you seen in my phone extraction? Nothing. Nothing. You see any of me talking about nigglets? You ever see that word? Anal sex with sleeping women? You don't see anything like that on my phone. Nothing. I'm not glad they released my phone extraction because it's a major violation. But compare my phone extraction to Michael Proctor's now. See who the real predator is. Turtle Boy was right. Eat a black dick. Sean never said that. I've never said that before, that's for sure. That was good. That lady was an absolute cunt, rag, N-word who had it in for me for some reason. Stupid, ugly gook, Sean Good says. Unfortunately, I know Randolph all too well. Randolph's got black people in it. Let me guess. He says the N-word. The place is a complete shithole filled with N-words. No good N-words. Oh, she's a Jew. So she definitely puts out. That's good. Deport their asses. I don't care if that's fine. If you want to deport people, that's fine. That's a political opinion. I don't care if they are here legally. Well, you should. Or what their excuse was. Effing deport those sand N-words. Wow. Chinktard, says Sean Good. Detroit should be destroyed, along with places like Flint, Michigan. They are breeding grounds for N-words to run wild. Jew fucker. It should be punch an N-word day in Canton. So not kill an N-word, punch an N-word day in Canton. Actually, let's out of retribution. Any shine you see, blast in the face. Wow. N-word. All gooks have shrubs between their legs so they don't shave their bush. America sucks, Proctor says. He hates America. Hitler was really onto something. Wow. Then the United States had to step in and ruin it. He's just kidding, though, guys. He's just a joke. Just palling around with his boys. You have my entire phone extraction. You have all my messages palling around with my boys. All my private conversations with my friends. You're not going to find anything like that in my phone extraction. Nothing. You're going to find some me saying Tim Castle's autistic. That's about it. Like that's what you're going to find. Which, by the way, him and I had a good laugh about. So he was a good sport about that. And I'm like, yeah, my ex-girlfriend's crazy. She released all my phone extractions, and now they do that now. He's like, I know. He feels me. So didn't work out the way they planned. Indeed, throughout the course of their friendship, which dates back to high school, Good and Proctor bonded over the warped. Again, Good is in Courtney Proctor's grade and Jill Daniels' grade. They're all in the same grade. I had no idea that Good and Proctor even had this close of a relationship. And the mere, again, his whole thing is I barely know Brian Albert. You know, I wouldn't protect Brian Albert. I barely know him. I barely know Chris Albert. My sister knows him. My sister's good friends with Jill and Courtney. I mean, she's Courtney, and Julie by extension. I barely know them. But you seem to be real good friends with Sean Good, who's a pig. And Sean Good is into protecting his friends, who he's known forever. That would be Jill Daniels. That would be Courtney Proctor. That would, by extension, be Julie Albert and Chris Albert, and thus Brian Albert. It's like, give me a break. They bonded over the warped prism from which they both view their surroundings and the individuals they encounter in their personal and professional lives. These distorted worldviews were shaped by unimaginable hatred and intolerance. through which they dehumanized others, often wishing violence or death on them, demeaning them, or even suggesting planting evidence, because it was just locker room talk. They weren't actually planting evidence, no. In written and recorded audio conversations beginning in 2013, the year the state police hired Proctor, and when Good was already an officer with Canton, for almost a decade later, these two law enforcement officers referred to community members whom they encountered as cunts, fat cunts, real cunts, N-words, dirty N-words. Is this a racial slur? I don't know if you're even allowed to say that. Stupid, ugly. It's just like, look at all these. Every racial slur possible. Proctor and Good believe those folks were polluting the neighborhoods in which they lived and worked and where they eventually served. They did more than just subscribe to an act in conformance with their bigotry. They actually memorialized in writing and voice messages to their like-minded friends, not a few communications, thousands of them. They discussed sharing private nude pictures of women, and intentionally ejaculating on women while they slept. You are going to find some nasty shit in my phone extraction. All of it is consensual. All of it. You will never find any messages to me in there about like, oh man, I want to do something that when she doesn't know about it, when she's sleeping. No, I'm freaky. Everybody knows that. But I'm big on consent. Okay? Consent is very, very important. When you don't consent, it's called rape. I don't know if people know that. Few protected classes, community members, or public figures were spared. Good wrote, Mayor Wu is a little cunt. Okay, you know what? I'll let that one slide. The governor can suck my... Okay, I'll let that one slide too. Terrible cunty Jew about Bob Kraft. Not going to let that one slide. Oh my God. Anne Frank's a lying cunt. I mean, as a comedian, I'm not against Anne Frank jokes. Okay, as a comedian, I believe everything is fair game, but that's not comedy. Like if you were to say Anne Frank, like hide and go seek champion or something like that, like okay, that's comedy. But a lying cunt, hard to say that's comedy. I don't know. Wow. Consensual daddy, exactly. Put simply, they were then and now completely, unquestionably unfit to hold positions of authority with state police and Canton police, much less play important roles, or in Miss Reed's case, the primary role in homicide investigations. And despite the Canton had received, reviewed, and verified and analyzed these same messages nearly a year ago, Sergeant Good, wow, they read these a year ago. And analyzed these same messages nearly a year ago, Sergeant Good remained employed with a full rank as a sworn police officer by the Canton Police until 2 days ago. Wow. 2 days ago. And yeah, I have court today. I have a court hearing at 10. 2 days ago. Now we know. I mean, he just quit 2 days ago because he knew this was coming out. That's the only reason he resigned. It took him that. He should have resigned a long time ago. And then you have Proctor. Now we know why Proctor's attorney bailed on him. Like close to a year ago. Remember the attorney bailed on him? The guy that called him Mr. Media? I think it's going to be restricted. Yeah. I don't know what else to do about this. I haven't said the N-word. I don't know. Got to monetize this. Keep reading. On January 29th, the state police and Canton police unleashed these two misogynistic bigots on Miss Reed to work on the conflicted and corrupted investigation. I love it. It did not take long to trigger their hatred and target Miss Reed. Indeed, Proctor Good and other police officers in their respective organizations understood the assignment once their fellow cops and friends, Brian and Nicole Albert, Matt and Jennifer McCabe, and Brian Higgins, falsely reported that Miss O'Keefe never went inside the house, even though his face was battered and bruised. He had dog bites and scratches on his arm, and he had a severe laceration on the back of his head that could only have come from a backward fall onto a ridged surface in the house rather than a flat front lawn. Law enforcement began immediately targeting and framing him. Everything that you just read in that paragraph there is documented by evidence presented in court. Much of it through expert witness testimony. Every single thing that you just read there. This is not because they're going to be like, this is defamation to say this. No, they can back up every single detail that they just put in there. And we can show you right now what they can. They falsely reported that he never went inside the house, even though his face was battered and bruised. Check. Autopsy photos. Source. He had dog bites. Source. Dr. Marie Russell. And scratches on his arm. He had a severe laceration on the back of his head. Source. Dr. Scortibello. That could only have come from a backward fall. Source. Dr. Isaac Wolf. Onto a ridged surface in the house rather than the front lawn. Source. Dr. Elizabeth LaPosada. Every single thing they said there is sourced. And they have the audacity. They have the audacity to sue Karen Reed and me for coming to the only conclusion that a reasonable person could come to after hearing this, because that is what the experts testified to, that he fell down and hit his head on a ridge surface, not a lawn, that those are dog bites and scratches on his arm. Therefore, a dog did that. Literally the only conclusion a reasonable person could reach is the conclusion that I did. It is not defamation or libel to point out obvious facts. And these people have the audacity to sue me and Karen Reed, who brought all of this up in defense of her life. That's what she did. She was defending her life, her freedom. They wanted to put her in a box for the rest of her natural life. And the only way to prevent that was to tell the story about what really happened to John O'Keefe, not the fantasy that these racist, bigoted, massage therapist cops were coming up with. It was her only way to do that. The only way for her to defend herself was to point the finger at someone else, which is exactly what she did with evidence. Indisputable evidence. Everything this is the best paragraph. So this paragraph right here is just dominant because every single thing in there, and it's just the way they unleashed these officers. Oh, I love it. Oh, what a fucking paragraph. Just put this paragraph 10 into my veins. And oh my God, just stick it in there. Consensually, of course. As the state police assigned lead investigator, without knowing any more about Miss Reed than she was an outsider and a female, Proctor openly exposed his ossified prejudice when he described her to his group of buddies as a retarded whack job. We know all this. Leaks poo, zero chance she's skating. She's effed. Cut and dry, pin it on the girl. We already know all that. So I'm going to kind of breeze through the stuff that we already know about, because I'm sure there'll be a lot of stuff that we know about in there. But that paragraph 10, just I want to read it over and over again. Immediately after Miss Reed's arrest, Good made the same type of sexualized and dehumanizing comment about, I didn't know this about Miss Reed's medical conditions and physical appearance that he and Proctor peddled in the hallways of the organizations on a daily basis. Jesus, every girl will want a brain tumor, MS, and colitis if you can look at that in yoga pants after killing your boyfriend. If you can look like that in yoga pants after killing your boyfriend. So he's talking about Karen Reed when she was arrested and arraigned in Stoughton on February 2nd, 2022, was wearing yoga pants. So I assume he is watching the arraignment of Karen Reed, and she looked great in yoga pants for sure. Absolutely. And he's like saying, oh, Jesus Christ, she has MS and you know, oh yeah, I mean, he's paying her, but he's being like, he's a collide there. Oh God, it's disgusting. Meanwhile, as Good pondered misreading yoga pants, Proctor seized her phone and launched immediately into a search for naked pictures of her, only to report back to his colleagues and friends, disappointingly, no nudes so far. But as he wrote to others, as the investigation began, he hoped she'd kill herself. Their investigative approach was born out of Procter & Good's perverse and depraved pattern of singling out and vilifying an outsider or protecting the blue line and their families. This was, of course, made more palatable by dehumanizing Miss Reed. With the help of Good and Canton police, Procter and his colleagues at state police, including his direct supervisor, Yuri Buchanan, conducted a fundamentally conflicted and corrupt investigation where the goal was to pin it on the girl, which included rampant violations of policies, procedures, and ethical rules. For example, as described further below, despite the overwhelming evidence that Miss O'Keefe was inside 34 Fairview Road, they didn't search the home for blood, fingerprints, DNA. So we already know all this. The house wasn't processed. The investigators didn't walk into the house crime scene until a week later. And then for a pro forma visit and brief interview of Nicole Albert, no effort was made to secure evidence from the German Shepherd, even though Mr. O'Keefe's body was found in the front yards with fresh and obvious dog bites and scratches on his right arm. Nor did Procter, Buchanan, or their state police colleague conduct any physical examination of the house defendants or attempt to seize their phones. The investigators didn't attempt to secure the crime scene, document evidence, collect biological material, videotape, or record interviews. Yeah. Insane. Create a crime scene log or maintain even the most basic chains of custody in accordance with well-established investigative protocol. Worse yet, the help of others at state police and Canton, Procter and Buchanan manufactured evidence to ensure that she was blamed for Mr. O'Keefe's death, intentionally diverting attention away from Proctor's friends and fellow law enforcement officers. This included planting evidence at the scene on Mr. O'Keefe's clothes and on on Miss Reed's vehicle to support. I mean, they put it's undeniable that they planted that glass on the bumper because it didn't match the cocktail glass. And it certainly didn't survive a round trip from Canton to Dighton in a blizzard. That didn't happen. To support the House defendant's false narrative that Miss Reed struck her with their vehicle, notwithstanding that the investigators knew Mr. O'Keefe's injuries, I'm getting mad. We're inconsistent with motor vehicle strike. I'm getting mad. I'm getting so mad about this. The more I think about it, it's all coming back. The anger that I felt when I asked these people questions, the passion that I've lost it a little bit. I've forgotten. This is bringing me back because it's like John O'Keefe went in and fuck these lawyers who think that they can just get us to stop talking about this. They can't. John O'Keefe went inside that house and he came out all but dead. We don't know what happened in there, but we know that he has a laceration in the back of his head that came from hitting his head on a ridge surface. We know that it likely caused the swollen eyes like that. It would likely cause that. And on top of that, we know that the body wasn't there at 2:30 on the lawn, which means he was put out later than that. We know there was a Ford Edge parked there at 3 o'clock. An eyewitness saw it. We know that. We know the police were made aware of this by August of 2023 and intentionally went out of their way not to investigate that tip and instead put significant resources into discrediting the witness, the plow driver, and attempting to use that to go after the person, me, who reported on it. And they got a judge to sign a warrant to come into my home and ransack it and steal my devices, which they still won't give back to this day because I reported on this, because I went up to these people who did this to John O'Keefe, and I attempted to ask them questions about why they did it. And the Commonwealth knew that these pigs, these racist pigs, were doing this. And they put me in jail over this. And they tried to put Rich Schiffer in jail because he wrote that Colin did it on rubber duckies. Do we know that Colin did it? No, we don't know who did it. We know Colin was there, which makes Colin a suspect because Karen Reed didn't do it. Everyone in that house is a suspect. And none of those suspects were ever investigated. Many of them weren't questioned. Many of them were not questioned. And this is a cop. This is a dead cop, a murdered cop. This is how they did John O'Keefe. I can't get over it. That this is how they did John O'Keefe, a beloved Boston police officer who lost his sister and his brother-in-law to cancer and drugs. And his niece and his nephew were orphans. And he took them in and he raised them. And then Karen Reed came into his life and she helped out and she did a lot of the mom shit because John likes to, he's under a lot of pressure, raising two kids by himself. And he still likes to go out with the boys and have a good time. And it was certainly very convenient to have a woman there, right? An educated, successful woman to play mom on the weekends or whatever, drive them to shit, do shit, fill in. And then they killed him and they blamed her. And they made sure to protect the people that did it. And then when witnesses came forward with evidence that they did it, what did they, like Arca, like Lucky Loughran, like Nicholas, what did they do? Their immediate move was to discredit them, to attack them, to smear them, to ask them about a ham sandwich, to ask them if their wife joined a Facebook group. I mean, there is no low with these people. And these are the animals that they protected, the animals. And you have Julie Nagel talking about black blobs. She saw a black blob on the front lawn and she never reported it. She never told police about the black blob, a human being, by the way. But Karen Reed's a bad person because she said buffalo on a prairie. She's not a buffalo on a prairie. She's a black blob. That wasn't offensive. The black blob wasn't a big black blob. And then these people have the audacity. And one of them Googled, how long to die in cold at 2:27 a.m. And a week after this was made public, the Norfolk District Attorney's Office, instead of investigating that, made an announcement because Jennifer McCabe texted Steve Nelson and said, are you going to do something about this Google search? Are you going to do something about this? And we have that in discovery. Are you going to do something about this? And then they did something about it. They made a press release saying that we're going to disprove this. They had no idea if they were going to disprove it. They hadn't talked to an expert yet. They didn't know who Jessica Hyde was. They didn't know who Ian Whiffen was. But they had already determined what the expert was going to say, even though it said right on there. It said right on there that she Googled how long to die in cold at 2:27 and then deleted it. And she deleted all of her phone calls over the 3-hour period when John O'Keefe died. All of them. And then these people who did all of this stuff have the audacity to say they're the victims. It's all coming back to me. It's making me so mad. And then they have the audacity to arrest me at my kid's bus stop and put me in jail for 60 days because I questioned these monsters, these animals. These animals, that's what they are. They're animals. These are not human beings. These are animals, all of them. And I went after these people in a way that no one else ever has, that everyone else was too scared to. And now you know why. Because when you go after these animals, they use the power of the state. And they're very good at lying. That's their specialty, is lying. And lying to judges to get warrants. And convincing the courts that actually he's the bad guy. Actually, he's the bad guy. and smearing me in the media as some sort of witness intimidator. Why? To discredit my reporting. If I was never charged with witness intimidation, it would be kind of undeniable that what I did was, you could call it heroic, right? The whole purpose of arresting me was to discredit my reporting. That was it. They're never going to convict me. They know that. But they wanted to dirty up and make it impossible for me to, like, you know, I stopped getting invited on court TV after being arrested. Why? Because they have pending charges. I went from reporter to criminal defendant. That's what I did. Because I was reporting all this shit that no one else was reporting, getting it out there. And they're like, well, how I was affecting public opinion in ways that have never happened before. And they're like, he has to be stopped. He has to be stopped. We have to stop him. He's too influential. How can we stop him? Let's put some charges on him. That'll prevent him from questioning these people. We'll get stay away orders. But most importantly, we will make it so for the uneducated people who don't look into this, that he is the criminal. The Turtle Boy is the criminal, actually. So don't have him on your show. Don't have him at your theater. Don't associate it with all. He's a criminal, don't you know? That was the whole point of it. Let's take his phone. Let's read all his messages. Everything. Let's lie about the context of David Yannetti telling me that these bastards deserve all the scorn they're getting. The bastards he's talking about are Michael Proctor and Buchanan. After reading these messages, do you think these bastards deserve scorn? I do. I do. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't believe these bastards deserve scorn. I do. Yeah, remember when Lizzie and Courtney went on Channel 5 and cried because Proctor was being treated unfairly? Unbelievable. I cannot wait to just consume all this. Let's go. Among other failures, state police and Canton police's delegation of power and authority to those biased, corrupt, and bigoted as Proctor and Good led to Miss Reed's being wrongly accused of homicide for 3.5 years and subjected to suspicion, 2 arrests, 2 prosecutions, and public trials and public condemnation. Indeed, with the exercise of ordinary care, both state police and Canton police would have known that Proctor and Good and others were unfit for service from the beginning. Incredibly, Proctor himself acknowledged this in 2017 after 4 years on the job, telling his friends, "No idea how I passed the background." Now, after being twice acquitted of all charges relating to Mr. O'Keefe's death, Ms. Reed brings this action to recover for and address the state police and Canton police's actions, inactions, and negligent failures to ensure that justice was sought and served in the aftermath of January 29, 2022. To be clear, this complaint transcends Ms. Reed's personal and actionable grievance. Rather, it is a clarion call for reform and accountability. Yes, cloaked with the emblem of authority, the state police and Canton police and their employees, Proctor Good and others, betrayed their sworn commitment to uphold the law. Their prejudices undermined our very democratic principles in wielding the great force of government over those who are vulnerable and powerless. The state police and Canton police's culture of intolerance, hidden from the public but in plain sight within these organizations, cannot stand unchallenged. They are culpable and confront the consequences. They own this shit. They own this shit. They don't get to just say, yeah, no wonder Lizzie Proctor changed her hair color, went back to her maiden name, stopped wearing a ring. No wonder. Wouldn't you be if you read text messages stating, and yeah, there is 10 a.m. court, but I'm not going. And there's no Zoom, is there? There's no stream. There's no stream. Give me one. Wouldn't you, if you found out that your husband was texting his homies, talking about waiting for you to fall asleep so he can go in your number 2 hole? Jesus Christ. Hold on. I'll be right back. Okay, I'll be right back. You know, the more I read into this, it's like the more you think about all the permutations of this and like all the shit that's gone on, and you're like, you know what? I just took a leak and I thought of something. And I'm like, Elizabeth Proctor called people's jobs and tried to have them fired. Why? Why'd she try to have them fired? Because they were saying bad things about her husband on Facebook. That was why she called people's employers up and tried to get them fired. While she was actively going out of her way to protect her husband by attacking his critics, he was texting Sean Good about how he wanted to drug her essentially so that she would fall asleep and he could play with her 2-hole. And she's out there simping for him. And she's, by the way, the guy likes Hitler. And he was a victim in my case. That one got dropped, but he was a victim. He's also the same guy who texted the group chat with Tully, Buchanan, and Morrissey on September 3rd, 2023, and said, what's the difference? Why don't we just arrest him? This is what a Hitler admirer said about me. A Hitler admirer said, why aren't we arresting him? What's the difference? What's the difference? Well, anyway. Jurisdiction. Additional facts. They had biases against women, as well as almost every other protected class of people other than white male, non-Jewish police officers. Proctor's and Good's clear willingness and tendency to dehumanize, judge, and evaluate people in circumstances based on their hatred and biases significantly contributed to their willingness to embrace that narrative. God damn it. God damn it. Why can't I be Jewish? Can I convert? I can convert. Can I convert? Tim Watley converted to Judaism just for the jokes. Can I do it just for the victim stat? Like I want to do it for Proctor. It would be very convenient right now to be Jewish, wouldn't it? In my shoes. Imagine if I was Jewish, my charges would be dropped tomorrow. Unfortunately, I don't fall into any of these protected classes. God damn. Can I convert? My lawyer's Jewish. Does that count? Do I get any credit for that? I don't know. Their willingness to dehumanize and value, blah, 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 significance, embrace their narrative, leading to the destruction of her career, her financial stability, and her freedom, as well as the emotional, physical harm caused by 2 years. I mean, this is like those text messages alone that I read up there, that this is the lead investigator on her case, dude. Karen, she's going to be rich. She's going to be fucking rich. Good. No pun intended. Good. Yeah, I cannot wait to call. We're going to call Proctor as a witness in my case. We have to. We have to. We have to ask him about the message he sent on September 3rd. We have to ask him about that. And then we're going to ask him all about this. All about this. I cannot wait to call. I mean, if you're Proctor right now, I hope he doesn't off himself. I hope he doesn't off himself. I hope he doesn't take the easy way out of this, because if you're Michael Proctor right now and you're Sean Good and you're waking up to this shit and you're going to the grocery store or wherever the fuck you're going and you're looking around and you're like, what are people thinking about me? What are people saying about me today? Like everyone's going to be reading this. Everyone's going to be looking at them. And I hope he's going to be experiencing a lot of depression, I'm sure, as a result of that. He better not take the easy way out. I'll be so pissed if he does that, because I'm sure he's considering it, and he better not do that. He better not do that, because he needs to take the stand, and he needs to answer for all this in my case and in her case and in everything. They are not getting away with this. They better not take the easy way out. I need these mofos. and screenshot and save every single They don't get to walk this back now because I'm sure they're all going to walk it back. You're going to see all from Krusty and Julie Carpenter. You're going to see all sorts of stuff about how disgusting this is. And no. They own this. This is their boy. That didn't affect the investigation. Bullshit. People who say stuff like this are evil to their core. Procter & Goods reservoir of, that's a big word, never heard of that, vituperation, fed by their staggering prejudices and the extent to which they were willing to pass judgment on others based solely on gender, race, religion, or sexual orientation are apparent from each of their contributions to the cesspool of abject hatred reflected in the group chats and email chains with their friends beginning in 2013. Below is a selection of those messages. Oh boy. Messages sent by Procter. February 13th. Even during his hiring process, he could not contain his bigoted views. On February 26, 2013, I was still a teacher back then. He wrote to his friends, "Hey, dickheads, I just wanted to give you two a heads up that you guys may get a call from a state trooper named Scott Cooper who's doing a background check. Don't know how far back they're going to go with this stuff, but didn't want to have you guys catch off guard." That's fine. I have friends that I actually lived with a guy who was trying to become a state trooper at the time. He did become one. Somebody from the state police came to our apartment, interviewed me about him, this trooper. And this is what surprises me. Like, this friend of mine, who I'm still friends with to this day, is the straightest arrow you've ever met in your life. And I thought that you had to be like a square, because he's square. He's very square to get on the state police. Like, he has never smoked weed. Why did he never smoke weed in his life? Because he was worried if he didn't, if he ever did, he would never get on the state police. He wanted to be a state trooper. That was his like dream. He wanted to be a trooper. So he never smoked weed, never drank or drove, never did any sort of violations. Like, he was the one in the group that we would like rag on because he was like straight edge, kind of, you know what I mean? To a degree. Like, he would drink a little bit here and there, but nothing, like, never, ever broke the rules, ever. And I'm like, but that's what you have to be to become a state trooper. In my mind, that's what I was thinking, that you got to be wicked square more than any other police department, more than any local police. Like, to get on the state police, it's kind of like a level above. That's the way I viewed the state police until this shit came along. And so it's just like Michael Procter gets on there and they know exactly who he is. They know exactly who he is. So anyway, Proctor's friend responded, "No problem, but what are we supposed to say? Last time the Boston police lady was grilling me for exact dates as to when and how long you lived in Brighton, how we paid rent, to who, anything specific we should be aware of. That lady was an absolute C-word, rag, N-word, who had it in for bear," referring to himself in the third person. I talked to this guy, a C-word, rag, N-word. That lady. I talked to this guy for half an hour today. I would be shocked if he pulled that same shit as her just from how she acted with me on the phone. Apparently, state police did not pull some shit as the Boston Police Department, who did not hire him during those interviews. I did not know he applied to become a Boston cop because the state police hired Proctor. It hired him. It hired him at the time. Proctor was constantly sharing countless messages with his friends and other law enforcement officers that illustrate the extreme and aggressive prejudices and biases he held against women and people of color, the LGBTQ community, whatever, and blah, 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 blah. And like, I have, like, he was in the class. Let me see if I can get these. Years 2023. I want to have these. What month did I get these? June. He went through the academy in the same year as Leah Genduso, who I exposed as a drug dealer, money launderer, perjurer, all that stuff. They were in the same class. And what made that story so shocking is that she had been investigated by the state police and testified in federal court about all of this. So the state police were well aware of all of this information, and they hired her anyway in the same year as Proctor. Like, this is the background search that they do, huh? I got to find, because I have pictures of like Genduso and Proctor in the same class. Anyway, I'll have to dig that up another time. There's too much shit in there. I have too many photos in my phone. Okay. Anyway, it hired him, and he was constantly sharing countless messages and blah, 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 LGBTQ community. Proctor's views on even polluted his thinking about the state police hierarchy and leadership. If that person is black, they will probably make him the next colonel of the state police. Oh, okay. Much of Proctor's aggression and hatreds, however, was directed at women. In fact, from the time of his hire at the state police through the time he began investigating Miss Reed, Proctor shared countless messages with his friends about his perspectives on women, discussing a sexual partner not wanting to be ejaculated on. That's when you whack off on her when she's asleep. Then tell her one way or another, you will spray a rope on her while she's sleeping. Sleeping. Is this is that about Elizabeth? He should, let's see, a fat twat. I'll allow that. Giant malignant CUNT. I pray to the heavens that some effed up insect from the Amazon crawls up her blank. We already read that one. I mean, it's, imagine saying that. An insect from the Amazon crawls up her blank, hatches eggs, and the litter kills her by eating her from the inside out. Imagine saying that. I want to shove a crowbar up her blank and let rat crawl in there. That will turn into me jacking off on her as she sleeps. We already read the part about the anus. Thick pigs. Get at it while she's asleep. Discussing needing a roofie or something to find a sexual partner. Ain't gonna happen. She will pass out at 9, and I will stay up until midnight drinking and watching movies. I would swoop in for the kill when she is asleep, though. Pigs I have stuffed. Part of like jacking off is to do it on an absolute pig, not some Brazilian smoke show top 12 model. You want a filthy pig that you just do dirty things to. Give me some thick girls with some meat who you can just shit on. Wow. Well, this is Matthew Farwell shit, man. He is a predator. Very regrettable. Referring to an overweight woman as a disgrace. Absolute pig. A CUNT. Imagine they had these for the trial. During the same time frame, Proctor also prolifically messaged his friends about a similar hatred for Black, Asian, Hispanic, Arab, and Jewish people. Let them die. We read that one about the car accident. An N-word is involved. I wouldn't rush if you're working. Let them die. You're just kidding, guys. This is a joke. A multi-car accident. Good was an on-duty Canton police officer. Proctor tells him about the car accident because they both live in Canton. And he's like, take your time, bro. Don't rush. Let him die. One of them's black, but I'm not saying black. I'm saying N-word, so that's why you should let him die. I literally hate 99% of the people I meet, see, and deal with. Oh, that's great. Dudes went into Canton High this morning to get a transcript and saw more N-words in 10 minutes than the 10 years I spent there, 4 years I spent there combined. Monkeys running around everywhere. Where did all these N-word children come from? Insane. Discussing a college football game. You notice that N-words headband from A&M said something like hashtag cash me out. Would have been nice if they were still our slaves. It would have been nice if they were still our slaves. Bitch, you should read about history, Michael Proctor. Chip, you would know that the people who own slaves, like, it's like 1% of the population owns slaves. White trash like you did not own slaves. Okay? Like that we own. You would never own a slave because you're too broke. Only rich people had slaves. People like you, just regular run-of-the-mill trash, you didn't own slaves. People like you in the South, back in the olden days, before antebellum society in the South, people like you protected the institution of slavery because you dreamed about owning slaves one day. But you never would because you're poor, okay? Because you're a loser, because you're trash. You guys, people like you were so stupid that you protected the rights of plantation owners to own human beings, even though you would never be able to own a human being because you're poor. So you, for some reason, you did all the, and then you did the dying. People like you died in the Civil War. For what? An imaginary country called the Confederacy that never existed, only in your head, right? The plantation owners, they didn't die. Their kids didn't die for Jefferson Davis. People like Michael Proctor died in the Civil War. Oh my God. Then I wouldn't have to go pick up Bertucci's, hey, N-word, go fetch Bear his wings and pizza. Oh my goodness. Jesus, that place was a dump. It smelled like N-words and cigarettes. Another plane was brought back to the gate because of two sand N-words speaking Arabic, and people on the plane were freaked out and had them kicked off. If an American pulled some terrorist act in the Middle Eastern country, they would have had all their heads chopped off in the middle of the closest major city for all the citizens to see and cheer on. Instead, this person will get lethal injection in a secluded federal prison and be viewed as a hero to all the sand N-words around the world. Word up, dudes. Just crushing business shit lately. Actually, not really. Just been dipping and trying to make sense of what G word next to me is saying. Deport their asses. Sand N-words. The NBA is god awful. These super teams and the refs are ruining the league. Plus, it's all N-words. I mean, I've complained about the super teams. I've complained about LeBron James, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade joining up. I never once was like, you know why I hate those guys? They're black. There's a lot of objectionable things about LeBron James. He's a pussy. He's a flapper. He's wannabe woke. He's never read past page 1 of a single book. He tries to be enlightened, but he's really not. He'll never touch Michael Jordan's jockstrap. There's plenty of shit to crap on LeBron James for, and I have. I hate LeBron James. But I've never been, you know what really bothers me about LeBron James? He's black. Never. That's not one of them, bro. I don't know. There's so much to hate about LeBron James, and he's like, it's the fact that he's black. That's what really offends him. And I'm the bad guy. Like this guy testified in front of a grand jury that he was scared of me and his wife, who the charges still exist for. All I have to say is about Hernandez, stupid N-word. This is how effing stupid she is. We got a new intern. Kid is a complete lemon dick who's been there 1 week. She drags him into her office and asks him for advice on how to bring the group closer together. There are 4 people who the rest of us hate, and it's obvious. 3 out of 4 are Asian. Surprise, surprise. I really don't like the Asians. Wouldn't mind being an N-word for the day. Just pop open a fire hydrant and suck down a few 40s while listening to some Naughty by Nature. N-word cops, he goes. Wow. Too many Jews in Sharon. There are a lot of Jews in Sharon. It's like, I have friends from Sharon, and that's the one thing they say. It's like, I think it's the largest percentage Jewish town probably in the Commonwealth. You drive through Sharon, the synagogues vastly outnumber the churches. But what's wrong with that? Like, who had, like, what? What? Why? I never understood the Jew hate. There's a lot of Jews that live in the west side of Worcester too. And it's like, I'm not to be like woke or anything like that, but there was nothing that separated them from other white people. In fact, the girls were hot. Like from my recollection, like I remember we called them the Japs. That's what we called them, Jewish American princesses. And they were hot. I have nothing but nice things to say about Jewish girls. They're hot, and they know it. They knew it too. I don't know. Like this guy hates Jews. He hates black people. Like I don't get it. I don't get it. America sucks. Hitler was really onto something. I mean, this is the best one. This is the best one. America sucks. So he hates America. Hitler was onto something, and then the United States ruined it by getting involved in World War II because we were bombed at Pearl Harbor. I get it's fashionable now because of the Israel thing to crap on Jews. I get that people do that now, and that's where the hatred comes from. I think is a lot of Israel. But back then, Israel wasn't that controversial back then. I feel like, at least not, it wasn't as commonplace, you know. It's much more popular now. Discussing a pornographic movie called Blackjack City. Jesus Christ. And it was nothing but fat N-words getting pounded out with huge, runny, flapjack tits. So he's watching a video called Blackjack City. You know, I've never done that. I don't talk about porn with my friends. I don't talk about the porn I watch. It's kind of like we don't need to know. We all know that we watch porn. I like my porn. You like your porn. I don't know what kind of porn my buddies watch. I don't want to know. It's probably not as good as the porn I watch. Right? I watch the best porn. Everybody knows that. These guys apparently are so weird that they like do porn reviews together. Like, oh, bro, it was bad. Bad. I watched a show called Blackjack City. I'm also racist. For some reason, I'm watching a porn called Blackjack City, and I don't like black people. And so surprisingly, the reviews were not good. Shocking. Detroit should be destroyed along with places like Flint. They're breeding grounds for N-words to run wild. Obviously, I can't watch a black dude F a white chick. Okay. I don't know what to tell you, bro. There's a whole genre for that. It's excellent. I don't know what to tell you. It's like, to me, I don't care. I don't know. Maybe it's TMI. I don't care. I don't care. I'm more in it for like out for the woman. I don't really care about the guy in the porn. Mostly in it for the woman. You know, that's why you're watching it. So I don't really care. This is insane. This is insane. So he can't. So he sees to a black guy banging a white girl on a porn. You can't watch it. Change the channel. Like what? Oh, corn. Say corn. Okay. This is way worse than Mark Furman. I know. Mark Furman was doing it as part of like a script for like a movie. Wasn't he doing it? Like there was some movie involved in that. Sand N-word movie. Use those N-words as dartboards. N-word lover. I can't believe I said this guy wasn't an N-word guy. I've never been so wrong. No N-words. A effing immigrant who's going back to Guatemala. Shrubs between new, like what? I can't even read these. I haven't shot anyone, but I did pull an N-word over today for tossing a cigarette out a window. So I came close. You know? Asshole N-words ruin the NBA. Ide D. Ghana. Let's enslave those N-words. My car needs a cleaning. I wonder how long she's been sitting on this for. I would rather deal with the retards at Starbucks. Wow. Asking for everyone's favorite race to bang, he said Middle Eastern would be asinine. We really should keep Jewish people from Sharon in a concentration camp. You're going to need a big camp for that, dude. There's a lot of Jewish people in. I wonder what his parents are thinking. You know? I should have adopted his kids. People like, he threatened to take my kids. Good. You know, you're a horrible role model. God, it breaks my heart that his boys are going to grow up one day and read this about their dad. They're going to Google their dad, and people are like, what, aren't you ashamed about you? Like, what are the kids are going to, my kids are going to Google me. I'm going to have an interesting conversation there about why I was arrested by a bunch of corrupt cops. I can explain it all, though. How are you going to explain this? How are you going to explain this? And the state police do not get to walk away from this. They have to own this. I went to this cobbler to have my blank stretched so I could fit black hog in it. That's great. That's swell. In addition to these horrific statements indicating the extent to which he believed these backgrounds and characteristics similar to him, white male, were superior to others, Proctor also won't shy about his other proclivities that made him patently unfit for service, including more than once that he planted coke on people. Oh, so he does plant evidence. And well, that seems kind of relevant. Oh, no. They're totally above planting taillight guys. Totally above it. I'm a police supporter. I'm this close to being like, fuck the police. After seeing what I saw in Utah, in Oregon, and the lengths that they went to protect this man, how can you not at this point? This is insane. They allowed a girl into the next academy who admitted to doing cocaine and ecstasy and recently used those drugs. Was her name Leah Janduso? I don't know. Like Proctor, and while a CPD officer, Good used the following words for women. C word, C word, C word over and over again. Wait, she's sending you nudes? Send them. If Lisa would let me see her cans and actually take a photo of them, I would send them. We are family here. Is Lisa his wife? He might be in a little trouble. He also displayed the same racial and religious supremacist viewpoints as Proctor, which, like his misogyny, impacted how he viewed the members of the public he encountered on a regular basis. So the N-word, the G-word again. Jews controlled the election? There's a question mark. She's a Jew, so she definitely puts out. I don't think that Jewish girls put out more than any other religion. I find from experience that they put out at an average rate, I guess. And look at these. Jew dweeb. He really hates Jews. The K word's a strong one. That's a strong one. Now, how are the blacks down there? Very blacky. Oh. Shared similar disdain for homosexual members of the community. I'll allow that and that. Unless depends how you're saying it. If you're like that, about an actual gay person, like you're a faggot, like something like that to them. But I feel like don't be a fag. It is different. I'm sorry, that's a little different. But there's plenty here. The Proctor shit is even worse. I mean, I can't believe this shit. He showed that he lacks the basic discretion and neutrality required of a police officer deputized to protect and serve all members of the community regardless of skin color. As just one example, oh no, I can't even. As an 18-year veteran of the CPD in 2022, Good shared his views in writing on Sandra Birchmore, whose death was ruled a suicide until federal authorities discovered Multiple officers from neighboring town of Stoughton Police Department have been sexually abusing her. The Norfolk DA's office earlier this year changed her death from suicide to undetermined. Against this backdrop, Good told his friend, that chick was borderline retarded. That's what Good said about Sandra Birchmore. Because she was subhuman to him. Why? Because she was just an object that a cop could bang. That cops banged and passed around. She was subhuman to him. And she was subhuman to Matthew Farwell. And Karen Reed was subhuman to them. And I'm white male, so I'm not subhuman to them unless I defend them. Then I become subhuman. That's why. They would have liked me if I was just like, oh yeah. How about them N-words, you know? How about them Jews? How about them C-words? They would have liked me if I said that. You know? This is a great day for me, though. For my criminal case and my civil case. Do you think a jury is more or less likely to believe that Michael Proctor framed, and Sean Good, for that matter, framed Karen Reed and planted evidence after reading these? I'd say more. Good helped his friends to avoid repercussions for what appears to have been regular practice. Their regular practice of driving drunk. Sobriety checkpoint on 138 by the trailside tonight. Please stay away at night. I can't help you if you get caught. Too many troopers and Milton police. Keep this info between us. How about this? I can't help you if you get caught, but I could help you before, but not tonight. He's telling his boys, drive drunk on another road. He apparently uses institutional power and access to illegally obtain information about women he encountered in his daily life. Writing in 2015, I can't wait to look up the C word tonight at work. Karen Reed told me that in messages, and I've talked about this, how John and cops do this all the time. They see a hot chick driving by, run her plate. See what her name is. I mean, they can do it. They have the power to do that. Good and Proctor's bias, bigotry, and personal histories were known. I'm sure they'll dispute that. Or should have been known. Yeah, when they hired him. Not only were they on notice of Proctor and Good's troubling views and intolerant attitudes towards various members of the community they were sworn to protect during the investigation of Mr. O'Keefe's death, but Proctor's supervisors knew Proctor had a close relationship with the Alberts and that Proctor made no secret of his bias against Miss Reed, demonstrating a clear prejudice against her from the outset. Canton Police's refusal to acknowledge its role in this debacle of an investigation or recognize the significant flaws in its hiring, training, and supervising practices, illustrated by Good's continued role as a sergeant for the CPD until 2 days ago, when upon information and belief, CPD was informed by the State Police Council that this complaint would be filed. So they knew about it. Wow. And they kept them on until 2 days ago when the state police informed them this complaint's coming out. So you better resign now. Wow. Now we know why Good resigned. Helpful right to the end. Canton Police then permitted him to resign 2 days before the filing of this complaint rather than firing him, thus saving him from the reputational and financial implications of being terminated for cause. I'm sure is his pension, there's a lot of shit. We're on page 19 out of 87. As for the state police, before and during the Proctor-led investigation, Buchanan, oh, nice, provided his annual employment reviews. True to form, despite knowing firsthand the extent of Proctor's unlawful conduct, bias, and bigotry, Buchanan repeatedly and falsely wrote that Proctor has handled himself with the utmost professionalism and with strict integrity. He said that on the stand. And confirmed that he had successfully discussed state police's policies concerning anti-harassment, sexual harassment, discrimination, and diversity. Other times, the state police simply looked the other way. In February of 24, 4 months before her first trial, the state police was aware they had a problem specifically related to Miss Reed's case. The DOJ began investigating the investigators, and on February 1st, questioned Proctor in a grand jury proceeding about texts that he wrote in which he called Miss Reed a C word amongst other bigoted comments. He was also questioned about his texts at 11 p.m., in which House defendant Brian Albert would escape scrutiny in the investigation because he was a Boston cop too. Further, Proctor was confronted at this grand jury about texts from Julie Albert to his sister, Courtney Proctor, asking him to give Proctor a gift for some implied favor he did for the Alberts during their interviews for the case. I will go one step further and say it's not really an implied favor. It's an obvious favor. The favor was arresting Karen Reed and not questioning Colin Albert. That's what the favor was. Thank you for not questioning my son, Colin, and thank you for arresting someone else. Thank you. On February 4th, Proctor had a meeting and told the highest level of leadership at the state police, this is in 24, before the trial, Colonel Mon, Lieutenant Brian Connors, and Major Leonard Comparath, still active. His emails are bad too. Like we can go over those. About his testimony to the DOJ. He told them about him. So he told them about his testimony. They did not terminate him. They didn't ask for his phone. They didn't investigate his bigotry. They knew it existed and where to find it, and they didn't want to, at least until Miss Reed's trial was over. Indeed, they tried to hide it from Miss Reed and the public, despite initiating an internal affairs investigation in March of 24 before the jury. I mean, this is insane. They literally did not do what they were supposed to do because they didn't want it to affect the lynching of Karen Reed. They're saying it's harder to lynch this woman if the public knows about this. The public can't know about this. It wasn't until Ms. Reed's defense counsel found out about these messages and then used them during the public trial that the state police concluded it couldn't ignore it any longer. The state police proceeded to falsely claim it could only became aware of these messages during the defense's cross-examination and finally terminated Proctor. While Internal Affairs launched a probe led by Kevin Dwyer to investigate Proctor's lewd texts regarding Ms. Reed, the state police inexplicably assigned two non-OPIA troopers, Major Benson and Captain Barrios, to perform cursory and brief interviews of the Proctors and Alberts, inquiring about their personal relationships with one another. Didn't know this. The Proctors and Alberts were not confronted with any texts or social media posts depicting their decades-long family bond. Then what kind of inquiry is that? Wow. No outside witnesses were interviewed. So the state police assigned Major Benson and Captain Barrios to inquire from the Proctors and Alberts about their personal relationships, and they didn't ask them about a social media post in 2019 on Chris Albert's page in which Proctor's mother said that the Alberts are a second family to the Proctors. That didn't come up. Real thorough investigation they did there. It was not just reasonably foreseeable, but nearly certain that the state police and the Canton police's failure to use ordinary care in selecting to whom they would impart power would result in members of the public being targeted and severely impacted by the officers and troopers' elemental shortcomings. Put differently, the biased and corrupt investigation that harmed Ms. Reed was the natural consequence of their hiring and promoting of biased and corrupt law enforcement officers. Dude, this is the lawsuit from hell. This is the lawsuit of all lawsuits. That they're effed. They're done. Like they're done. Karen Reed's. It's not a matter of if she wins. It's a matter of how much they're going to give her. That's what's going to happen. So Dina, our consultant on the ground, she was at the hearing today. She says, Aiden, the hearing is over, which I'm sure you know. I don't know that. You actually told me. I don't know how much of it was streamed, but there was a pool camera there. Fox 25 had the pool camera, but I did get interviewed by the local news channel 7, and I talked about you and journalism isn't a crime and how we're up against the machine and we're fighting back. And then Bradle got interviewed after when he walked out. So anyways, I'll touch base with you later. I can't wait to figure out how that goes, but we are in the middle of breaking major news. Wow. Unbelievable. After Procter & Good launched their biased and corrupt investigation, other police officers followed suit and caused harm to Miss Reed. Buchanan, Tully, and the House defendants that are specifically incorporated here in state police and Canton police, wrongful acts include, but are not limited to, they were propelled by the House defendants' false statements. They failed to investigate any theory other than seeking to singularly focus on Miss Reed, to the exclusion of all other available evidence. They ignored Mr. O'Keefe's injuries were consistent with a physical altercation and dog attack. They intentionally sidestepped or wholly ignored fundamental investigatory procedures. They disregarded and failed to obtain pertinent interviews and other critical evidence from the House defendants. Through Procter, they secretly communicated with the Alberts on his personal phone. Really? Deliberately back-channeling those communications to circumvent his state-issued device. Do we know about that? Do we know about that? And used his sister as a surrogate. And the McAlberts were not in court today. Excuse me one moment. I'm going to go get more water, bro. I'm going to freaking stay hydrated today. Be right back. All right. Dude, it just never ends. All right. They manufactured evidence to ensure Miss Reed, not their friends and fellow law enforcement officers, was blamed for Mr. O'Keefe's death, including planting evidence at the scene on Mr. O'Keefe's clothes and Miss Reed's vehicle to support the false narrative that they struck Mr. O'Keefe with the vehicle. Okay, we know all this. Abuses of power, 2 juries rejecting them. She lost everything. As Greg Connor, a 25-year veteran prosecutor in that office who is now seeking role of the district attorney, recently said of the Commonwealth's murder charge, the reach exceeded the grasp. They're using Greg Connor's words against them. And I don't think there was another DA office in Massachusetts that wanted to prosecute Karen Reed. They're using the note my objection interview. Oh, good job. Good job. I knew that one when he said that and she didn't question. Remember, she goes, see, that's a problem. When she goes, no other DA's office would investigate this. And she's like, see, stop right there. And she didn't bring up the fact that, like, maybe that's a problem that no other DA's office would do this. What damning, wow. I'm so glad they included Greg Connor's own words against them in this lawsuit. Yeah. Oh my God. They owed a duty of care to exercise reasonable care to ensure the troopers. The duty includes without limitation duty to actively hire and train. In particular, officers that MSP hires, trains, promotes, and required to comply with the law, written code of ethics. When hiring individuals to be troopers and interact with the public, they had a duty to be reasonable to care, hire individuals who wouldn't endanger or cause the whole ethics. They breached its duty by, among other things, hiring, retaining Proctor when knew or should have known he's unfit, not training him, and Tully and Buchanan, bigoted views, perjury, okay. A lot of this stuff is good. We've gone over already. Upon information and belief in prior investigations, Proctor, Buchanan, and Tully have exhibited a pattern of misconduct, including misogynistic conduct. Is there something I missed there? What did Proctor and Buchanan do, those massage therapists? Do we get them on that? Tully's so much of a straight arrow. Like, Tully is sneaky. Tully's corrupt, but he's good at it. He's really good at being corrupt and hiding it. He's much better than these other clowns. They caused harm to Miss Reed, who was wrongfully investigated and prosecuted. She lost her career, her home, her car, and her reputation. She lost her freedom of movement for years. I can't wait to sue these mofos too. Because guess what? They've caused me a lot of damage too. A lot of damage, reputational damage, legal fees, and just like professional damage. Like, the stain of having these charges on me, which are completely fraudulent, brought upon by the biggest racist cop of all time, and him sending a text message on September 3rd saying, why aren't we just arresting him? That was the catalyst for they weren't planning on arresting me. They couldn't arrest me until he sent that. That text message changed everything. And I've lost, I mean, I wasn't allowed inside the courtroom because of these charges during the trial, right? Every time my name was brought up in any sort of reporting, it was never like the man who broke the story, the man who investigated this, which is what really happened. That's what really happened. But arresting me changed everything about the narrative about my reporting on this. They said that my reporting was actually a crime. And by the way, I went to jail for 60 days. And you can't put a number on that. I don't know what number you'd put on that. 60 days, what that's worth. 60 days of your life. Okay. CPD. Okay. Failing to supervise. So this is they're suing Canton police. Failing to properly supervise and train Lank in his failure to inspect or secure 34 Fairview Road. That's good. Secure the scene where Mr. O'Keefe's body was found. Inspect the house, defendants' bodies for evidence, or ask for their phones. Failing to preserve and protect and secure various surveillance video. You guys read it? If I go like this, is this too small? Do you guys like it bigger? But then you can't see my beautiful face. I don't know. What do we like? Do we like this way or the other way? You got to let the chat decide. Do we like this way or the other way? Yeah, the time I lost my mother. How about that? My mom died like what? 4 months after I got out of jail. So, I went to jail and she had 6 months to live and I missed the first 2. And they took that away from me. And what they did to my family, that they all had to pick up the slack and they had to do things. Make it bigger. Okay, we'll make it bigger. All right. Failing to preserve and protect security, various surveillance video inside and outside the Sally Port, including but not limited to setting the auto delete function on such videos to 30 days and not preserving those particular videos for longer periods of time. Great point. Attempting to obfuscate and hide from Miss Reed's criminal defense team surveillance video footage from inside the police station and outside in the parking lot on relevant days. Failing to supervise the relationship between Proctor and Kevin Albert, including permitting backdoor communications involving the O'Keefe investigation and other social activities during the investigation. including drinking and driving together on Cape Cod, providing Brian Higgins with access to the CPD station without supervision. Thank you. Once CPD knew Higgins used the CPD station in the middle of the night, immediately following the house party on the night of her death, failing to investigate and report that fact to the state police. They never reported that to the state police. Even if they were completely innocent, he was admittedly drunk, drinking Jameson and Gingers and driving all sorts of state-owned vehicles around the Canton Police Department while drunk, hiding the close relationship between Ken Berkowitz and Higgins, failing to document the condition and supervise. You know what else they should sue him for? Sending that text message to the reporter that Ken Berkowitz sent from Boston 25 News, asking him to take out a tweet because it mentioned Brian Albert's name. CPD's failure caused harm to a foreseeable case of plaintiffs, namely Miss Reed. Specifically, among other things, CPD's breaches proximately caused Miss Reed to lose her career, her home, her car, and her reputation. She lost her freedom of movement for years and was forced to endure 2 criminal trials before being acquitted of any crime related to their death. CPD did not respond to Miss Reed's presentment within 6 months of that date, and as a result, they finally denied her claim, is deemed to have finally denied her claim pursuant to MGL, whatever. She's entitled to damages. Civil conspiracy. That's interesting. Wow. Against both defendants. They acted negligently and tortiously and unlawfully as alleged above and in the amended complaint incorporated by reference. At all relevant times, state and camp police departments and agencies imbued with legal authority had a peculiar established power of coercion over Reed, particularly while working together in connection with the investigation of John O'Keefe. MSP explicitly denied her claim in April of 26. CPD did not respond within 6 months. They're deemed to have finally denied her claim, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Jury demand, prayer for relief. And so that's it. These are the exhibits. Okay, here's the exhibits. Exhibit 2 is the amended complaint. What is this? This is the lawsuit in district court against Proctor, Buchanan, Tully. This one already existed, right? In the House defendants. This one already existed. We've already read this one, right? Okay, so that's an exhibit. So we don't need to go over that again because we've already read that, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I've already read this, right? I want to make sure. Look at all these deleted phone calls. Chat. I love you. Fuck my Proctor and good. Racist piece of shit. They don't. Yeah. This is, I've read this, right? So we don't need to go over this again. Vote for Adam Deitch. Like, how could you not run for DA? Michael Morrissey employed, like, saw this guy every day in the office and played footsie with him. Said he was a good guy. So we've already read all this, correct? So I don't want to overkill it. Resting, yeah. Unbelievable. So we've been over all this. Okay, so it's a lot of this pages is exhibits that are. I want to see if they have the screenshots of the racist text in here as exhibits. So most of this is the initial complaint she already filed in federal court. Okay. All right. So that's it. So there we go. Yeah. Yeah. Not good. Let me read some turtle chats here. This is a long ass bus stop live, huh? Jeez Louise. You know, it's like the House defendants, like I said in that article yesterday. Maybe you guys should be suing Michael Proctor. Because you know why everybody thinks that they did it? Not because of me. They all think I did it. Or they all think that we all think they did it because Michael Proctor was the lead detective, this guy. And never forget this. Matthew McCabe wrote an email to the Governor Healy on July 22nd, I believe, 2024, insisting that they not fire Michael Proctor. That was the premise of his email. Don't fire Michael Proctor. Why would he do that? What's Michael Proctor done for him? Oh, I think I know what Michael Proctor's done for him. Don't I? Because according to their story, if they're innocent, all Michael Proctor has done for them is cause them problems. His inadequate, ridiculous investigation and his insanely inappropriate text messages have caused the public to believe that the state police covered for the McAlberts. And the McAlberts, in fact, murdered John O'Keefe. That's what Michael Proctor done for them. It makes no sense why he would write an email to the governor demanding that Michael Proctor not be fired. What the fuck does he care if Michael Proctor's fired? What does he care? They're not friends, right? Read the article I published. They're not friends. So why, you don't know him, right? You guys aren't pals, so what do you care if he's fired? Unless Michael Proctor did you a solid by not investigating you, by not going inside the house. And these pieces of garbage have the audacity to sue me. Do it. I can't fucking wait. Do it. Do it. Do it. Because guess what? I have an army behind me who are going to have my back to the end of time, and we can outraise you. As Bob Motta said, Turbo will crowdfund the fuck out of it. You think these people are going to let me lose to you? Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? If I were them, I'd give up now. I would just give up now because we know how the story ends. And the more they push it, the greater my victory will be. Do it. Okay, let me read some turtle chats. All right. All right, MAGA Barbie sends $50 and goes, can we get a daytime daddy series where you go over the bricks and minifigs Lego YouTuber scandal? Monetize that shit. Let's go. Yeah, I know. Maybe I will. I'm a YouTuber now. Let's be honest. I should just do this all the time. Let's do it. Connor sends $5 and goes, Turtle Boy, the civil rights lawyer YouTube channel. You should watch the Reckless Ben video. I watched it last night. 2 million followers. Maybe you could speak to that lawyer too. I'd love to. He's great. Nicole sends $25, goes, forever to be known as Aiden, Keeper of Records. I know. Is that what they called me? Keeper of Records? Huh. Alex sends $5, goes, what did you think of Sparkley's powerful affidavit? I think she will finally be the one to stop Jen and Meredith and get an order. What do you think, Doctor? I haven't read her affidavit. I don't know. I haven't followed that as much. And I much respect to Sparkly Rabbit, Marie there. I want nothing to do with 5150, so I'm not involving myself in it. I wish her the best. If the way they contacted her family and harassed her was too far and inappropriate, I don't know if it will be enough to get an order, because in Massachusetts, at least, you have to show 3 or more instances of unwanted contact that put you in direct fear. So she's going to have to prove that of physical harm. I don't know if she's going to be able to get that, but I wish her the best. But me, even if I were to go there in support of Marie or Sparkly Rabbit or whatever, it would just be giving into what 5150 wants, which is me in her life. And I can't do that. So I don't want to be involved with her at all. So that's that. Next. At 4 Dread sends $5, goes, yo, I'm a little late to the party about that Natalie and Tully interview, but her biggest fear was being a ratchet. Turtle Boy, I know. I don't want to be one of his ratchets. Oh, you are. You are. At 4 Dead, let's see, sends $5 and says, those Proctor and Good messages are going to hit like crack when and if you go back on Timcast. I know. That's a good point. That's a good point. Maybe we'll send those to Tim. That's such a good point. He's going to love that. These are by the way, these are the cops that I'm charged with intimidating, Tim. These are the people who sent you an email saying you can't talk about them on your show. You can't talk about these guys. You can't talk about corrupt cops on your show. Can't do it. Andrea sends $10, goes, please tell me you saw the clips I sent you on Twitter of Reckless Ben and the civil rights lawyer. Again, I've said this a bunch of times. I went to Mansfield last night during the drive down. It's an hour-long stream. I listened to it on 1.5 speed. It was fascinating. On the ride home again this morning, I listened to it more. I listened to more of it. So I've definitely consumed all the Lego content, and I feel like I've barely dipped into it. There's so much. Fairy Raven sends $5, goes, Proctor's texts make me think about his close relationship with his sister, Courtney. It seemed weird when he first heard the communications between them. We call her a thick pig. Hashtag Turtle Boy was right. I mean, she did play the tuba. I assume it was in the brass family. I'm guessing she did. I don't know as a fact. We'll see. But yeah, does she approve of all this? What are they going to say? Can we please share the Elizabeth Proctor and Courtney Proctor interview with David Bieniek from WCVB after the trial? Can we play that, please? Michelle sends $20, goes, imagine how CPD Chief Daniels, who's black, is thinking about one of his own officers being so disgustingly racist. Oh, don't worry. I mean, that guy's a clown too, from what I've seen from him so far. He seems to be just another hack. Don't get excited about him. Michael Cox is black too. Boston Police Department. I'm sure he'll have some words condemning it now that he has to. Once they have no choice, then they condemn this. Bet you knew the whole time. Kim sends $10, goes, I can't wait to see how the antis try to walk back their egregious support for the state police and Canton police. You know they're spiraling now. I'll take bets on how they spin this one. Turtle Boy was right. They're going to be like, here's one bad apple. Or what about when Turtle Boy said bad stuff? He called people the C word too. He called Karen Reed a C word. I said it as a term of endearment. Prince of Wales Zach sends $5, goes, I highly recommend the book Ordinary Men by Chris Browning, about German police and how ordinary men commit atrocities when conformity to racist or hate-based ideology is the norm. It describes Canton's law enforcement, LEO environment chillingly well. What's it called? Ordinary Men by Chris Browning. I will try to check that out. Maybe I'll read it at the beach this summer. Thanks. Okay, let me read some cash apps here. Okay. Kerry sends $20 and goes, hello, Denise Caprino. We know you're watching. Who's Denise Caprino? Thank you, Kerry. Beverly sends $100. Woo! Cash money. And goes, Turtle Boy was right. Turtle Boy was right. You goddamn right. Jess Vadine sends $10. Goes, standouts need to happen. Let's do it. June 19th, Canton Club. White supremacist rally. There's a white supremacist fundraiser led by a white supremacist named Krusty Panties who calls black people Uncle Toms and supports racist bigots is it surprising? There are all these racist. Are there going to be any black people there? Any black people at the white supremacist rally on Juneteenth? That's if there's no protest there, I'm going to be very disappointed. I'm going to be like, wow. I guess we're okay with it. I hope there's a protest. I hope to see Boston Brandy down there. Timma, the Sweeneys, the usuals. I hope they'll be there protesting racism and white supremacy in Canton at the Canton Club. Laura sends $5 and goes, doesn't this give many people grounds for retrials? I don't know what the implications of this will be. I don't know if Miles King is going to. I mean, Miles King probably could have walked free from murder charge if he wasn't retarded because of these. He had a great lawyer. This whole Michael Proctor thing fell into his goddamn lap. What luck to have him as your lead investigator. And then you're like, yeah, but I'm just a shitbag at my core. I can't stop selling drugs. I just can't do it. He doesn't have it in him to stop. It's just who he is. He's garbage. Think how many scumbags will walk free because of Michael Proctor. Unbelievable. Membership. Kerry says, so proud to be a Turtle Rider. Me too. I'm proud to have you. My cat's name is Karen. She's a new member. Welcome aboard. Jeannie Lynn's a new member. You're going to love it here. You're going to love it. Do we finally surpass the glare in members? I hope so. Element OG, new member. Awesome. My guy, Asser Frisch, is 7th month. He goes, Proctor is like Bob Ewell from To Kill a Mockingbird. I read that in jail. Bob Ewell was the racist townie guy, right? Whose daughter falsely accused Tom Robinson, I believe. I believe that's what happened. Or he actually did what Tom Robinson was accused of doing, I think. Proctor, my feelings got the best of me. You know he's going to say that. But guys, the only reason he wrote all these texts, he was just really upset about John O'Keefe's death, right? He was just really upset about it. He was so unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go try to get some shit done. I'm sure Melanie's streaming this. Enjoy consuming this content all day. Oh, boy. This just dropped in our lap. What a Thursday, huh? Anyway, we'll see you guys all for Sex Call tonight and everything. And we'll talk soon, all right? PC Bump Grease, outie.
Top down, riding down Main, it's a clear night. Screens glowing blue, got the facts in my headlights. Commonwealth tripping, but the truth stay calm. Morrissey and Lally, I'ma read them like Psalms. KP throwing shade from a broke down porch, but the files in my lap like a flame to a torch. I don't raise my voice, I just let the game speak. Steady with the grind while the crooked run weak. We just riding slow, gliding, paper stacking in the breeze. Turn the system up, let the whole town see. No mask on my face, no fear in my lane. I'ma shine that light on the ones bringing shame. From the courtrooms down to the city blocks. They can't hide from the truth, cause the truth don't stop. We just ride a slow grind. Midnight oil burning, pen hit the pad slow. Every word cut clean like the rims on the 6-4. From Boston to Brockton, the whispers all hum. Turtle boys riding in the reckoning gon' come. Lally in the back room, Morrissey on the phone. Trying to twist the narrative, but they can't postpone. I'm just sipping on the facts while the city play pretend. True, got no curfew, I'ma run it to the end. See, this ain't about fame. This about that long game. You can duck, you can weave, but the truth still call your name. We just riding slow, gliding, paper stacking in the breeze. Turn the system up, let the whole town see. No mask on my face, no